This is part 2 of a tutorial using Autodesk Inventor 2018 to make a laminated project. So here's piece 1. So there's a couple things we can do. We can just start over and make a second piece, or we can copy things. So if we were to start over, we would go up to File, we go to Part. From Part, you can see this is the next part down here. We would do 2D sketch like we did in the previous tutorial. Okay, there is another way to do this. So I'm just going to click on the X to close this off. So we're going to take this part right now. We're going to go to File right away. From File, we're going to go to Save As. From Save As, we're going to save a Copy As. And from Save Copy As, we're going to call this one now, instead of Walnut Piece, I'm going to call it Maple Piece. I'm going to go Maple Piece. Okay, and we're going to click on Save. So now you can see there's Walnut Piece is still open. Okay, so we're going to go to File. We're going to go to Open. And we're going to go into, I got to move some folders here. Just give me a second. So I have to go find my Woodwork 10, from Woodwork 10, Cutting Board Demo. And in here you can see Maple Piece. So we're going to open up the Maple Piece. So now we have Walnut Piece, Maple Piece. They're both the same colors right now. So we're just going to click up here in the model tree on Maple Piece. And up here we're going to change from Wood Walnut, and we're just going to go to Wood Maple. What does this one look like? I don't like the look of that one. So let's go here and go Wood Birch for right now. You can play. Oh, this is a good example. So we can bring this one in, and you can see now how the grain is kind of the wrong way and it looks really weird on you. So what we can do is adjust this. So I'm going to take the whole piece, click on it up here in the model tree. I'm going to go to Adjust. And from Adjust, I'm going to grab this right here and I'm going to turn and rotate. And you can see how the grain rotation is changing to actually reflect what it's going to look like on the piece of wood. So we're going to do that and click on the OK. And now we have our piece there. So that's our maple piece. And I'm going to click Save. And once we saved it, we have our two pieces. So there's our maple or walnut piece. There's our maple piece. You can play up here with the different ones. And you could also play over here because there are different actual colors and things in here as well. So you can come to wood and find different ones, or walnuts and things. But I'll let you play. All right. The next part is putting the pieces together. So we come up to New. From New, this time we're going to go to Assembly. And in Assembly, we're going to learn to actually assemble parts together. So down here we have our piece open, our second piece open, and now we're in Assembly. An assembly means joining the pieces together to make something. So the first part is we go to Place. And from Place, I got to go find this again. So we're going to go to Master School Documents. And from there, we're going to scroll down to Wood 10 because that's where it is. And Cutting Board Demo. And I'm going to grab my first piece, which is the maple piece, and click on OK. So anywhere on the screen doesn't matter. I'm just going to press the left mouse button to click on it. I'm going to right mouse click and OK to get rid of it because I'm only going to have one of these. Now, this is my first piece. What I'm going to do immediately is I'm going to right mouse click on this piece. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to find grounded. And grounded is very important because now that it's grounded, it won't move. All right, so if I try to move it, it actually doesn't move. Okay, so next we're going to go Place. We're going to grab the walnut piece, click OK, and I'm going to put one walnut piece on this side, one walnut piece on that side, right mouse click and OK. So try to move this piece, left mouse bit, doesn't move. Try to move these ones move all over the place. Okay, so the next part is to constrain, and we're going to constrain this piece to here and this one to this one. So we're going to zoom in a tiny bit. I'm just going to move this one here. We go to Constrain, and I click on Constrain with my left mouse button, and I should click on Constrain on my left mouse button. And whoops, I'm sorry, it was dragged off my screen. We're just going to bring it back in here. There we go. So place constraints. So my first constraint is going to be the ends. So I'm going to constrain this end and this end. And you can see that it snaps into place and they're opposite ends. So I don't want them end to end. So that's called mate. I want them flush. So I click on flush and you can see how they've gone to opposite sides, or to the same side. And I click on apply. I'm going to hit cancel for a second. Now you can hold the shift key down and the center scroll mouse button down, and now you can see I can move it. You see they're not at the same height, right? And I can move this all the way around. Matter of fact, if I actually twist this around like this and screw you up, to fix that, we come up to the view cube. This is called the view cube, and we click the home and it puts you back into place. So now that we're here, I can move this, and it looks like it's moving around, but it's actually always in the same as that. I'll go back to Constrain, From Constrain, I'm going to pick this edge, and then I'm going to hold the Shift key down and the center mouse key down. I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to click on this edge, and you can see that it snaps together. And I click Apply. Now the last one is, they're actually end to end, because if I go from top view, you can see that they're actually, oops, they're not on that end. Where are they? Oh, we're actually not on the top. Sorry, we could do that. Now you look, and they're actually lined up on top. And if we click this sideways, and we rotate this way, you can see that they're end to end, right? And it does mess you up, except for they're not up and down. So I'm going to go back to Home, and finally, I'm going to constrain top here and top here. And see, it didn't click. That's because right now they're set to mate. You want them flush. So when I click flush, you can see that they just went flush together. And finally, apply. Now, and I'm going to hit cancel. So I'm going to repeat that process. I'll go constrain this edge to this edge. And I don't want it that way. I want it that way. Hit apply. Now the problem is it's right on top of it. So I'm going to hit cancel right now. And I'm going to move, it's right in there, somewhere in there. Oh, that one's a bad one. So we can't really move it. So I can pick here on the model tree. And now that I pick there, I can actually take it and I'll drag it over. So that's there. Constrain this edge to this edge. Put those together. Apply. And finally, this edge to this edge. And again, it's on mate. I want it to be flush on the top. And we click apply. So that concludes it there. The one thing is you can't really see the edges very well, and I don't like it when I can't see them. So in here, there's actually at the bottom here, there's a little tiny expanding tool. I want you to click on Visual Style. You can see mine's already clicked on Visual Style, but I'll re-click it again. There you go, Visual Style. From there, you can grab here and drop down, and I want you to do Shaded with Edges. You see Shaded with Edges, you can actually just see the edges a little bit better. They're kind of in black there now. So that just helps you out a bit too. So that concludes this. A couple other really quick things. What happens if I was to lose my project and I don't know where it is? I click on Home, and it comes back to me. If I want to move it, I hold the Shift key down and the scroll center button down, and I can rotate it around. And again, if I lose position, I hit Home. And finally, if I hold just the scroll key down, I can move it side to side, or the scroll on the mouse button, I can move it side to side, up, down. So that's just a few things we can do. This concludes how to join or constrain things back together so you actually have a part of a project. And that concludes this part of the tutorial.